Awesome. This is so cool. So we're broadcasting on Zoom, in our business platform on Facebook, and our own individual platforms on Facebook. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it totally is. And, it's so much fun because, we have this idea that we know that one of the most important things that we can have is our health, our wellness, right? Yes. And yet we know that there's many people out there that really don't know what to do or how they can take ownership of their own wellness. And so we know that knowledge is the foreplay to wellness. Yes, we kind of did a little play on words with our, title for this podcast. So we're so excited that you guys are joining us for episode two. It's going to be all about the immune system. So you want to tell them who we are first of all?
Yeah, we are Dr. Dondi and Marcy Nettles. And this is also being turned into a podcast. So we're doing all kinds of different platforms here, but the whole purpose is to get out the word on how amazing your body is by promoting and educating you on wellness. Yeah. And the full foreplay is we're going to ask 4 questions every episode.
So I am a former detective and you are a
former family wellness chiropractor.
And now together we are investigating different ways that you can take ownership and take control of your own wellness. So we're providing to you a different topic on each one of these episodes where we will ask 4 specific questions about the topic and answer them during this show so that you guys hopefully will take a little bit more empowered approach to your own wellness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the questions that we're going to be asking today are our common one. Number 1 is, what is it? The immune system. What is it? Number 2 is going to be, why is it important? Number 3 is, how can it be hindered? Good question, right? Mm-hmm. And the 4th question we're going to be asking today about the immune system is, how can we support and increase our immune systems? So you ready to go?
I'm ready. Right, are you ready? You guys ready?
Right here.
We're ready to give it to you.
Yep, absolutely. So let's start here with the what is it question. So we have some bullet points that we're going to be working off here. So I'm going to read the bullet points and then we're just going to free flow, baby. We're just going to go in our conversation and just get ready. You might even want to start, I don't know, it's recorded, but taking some notes because something just might really grab hold of you. And one thing we want you to know, don't feel overpowered or get overwhelmed in all the information that we provide. Pull out 1 or 2 things that you really want to take control of and you maybe want to start doing a little bit more of or changing in your lifestyle, because that's what this is all about, is helping you have the best opportunity in optimal wellness. Mm-hmm. So what is it? The bullet points. So the immune system is your body's natural protective and defense mechanisms, your own personal military that responds instantaneously when an attack is sensed. It's always on duty, always. The guards are always in the tower and ready to act. When it is at work, there are indicators, guys. There's indicators. I mean, you could feel amazing when your immune system's working, or you could have a fever. You could have diarrhea or even vomiting. Say gross, right?
Yeah.
Nasty. So that's what the immune system is. So you have some really good intel in our conversations about the immune system and things that I didn't know because I have a different background than you. And I know that there's probably a lot of people out there that come from the same type of background as me. It's like we relied on our medical doctors. We went and saw them every single time that we were sick. We had runny nose. We went to the doctor and we did what they wanted us to do, right? And, from the time I was a child, I was at the beck and the information coming from a doctor, right? So
I would say I was brought up very similar, but I just started to ask questions. And I thought, it doesn't really make sense to me that I go to someone who doesn't know me, doesn't live in my body, doesn't know how my body reacts and try to tell me what my body should be doing. It started to not make sense. And then I started doing my own research. And that's how I became a chiropractor, actually. I wanted to understand how the human body worked because I really wasn't getting what I was feeling. I was getting some different ideas. So, and I guess I just went on a personal quest. But when you're talking about the immune system, most of the time we take for granted, I would say almost all the time, we take for granted our immune system. So how do you know it's working? You feel good. You don't have any symptoms. You're not sniffling. You don't have a headache. You're not coughing. You don't have any symptoms. You're welcome. Yes. Your immune system is doing its job.
It's working.
But sometimes when we think we're actually sick, we're not. In fact, we're expressing very strong signals and indicators of health, even though it may not feel like it. And you mentioned them, like vomiting.
Yeah.
I remember one time, I love sushi. I remember I went to this just amazing sushi place, great reputation, great part of town, and I was vomiting violently all night long. And people was like, "Oh, you got some bad sushi." Yeah, I must have got some bad sushi. But think about what is there any common sense in going to take the pink stuff, drink some Pepto-Bismol so that I don't throw up and just keep that bacteria in my body longer? Does that even make sense? Your body is vomiting to get rid of the bad bacteria that it recognized as bad bacteria. That's a good thing. It sucks when you're going through it, but it doesn't even make any sense to keep that bacteria in your body longer so that you stay sicker longer. Or how about vomiting? What's the other end? Diarrhea.
Eek.
Oh my gosh, diarrhea sucks. Yeah, it sucks. But it's a really strong indicator that your immune system is working. It's getting something out of you that doesn't belong in you.
Yes.
And we want to reach for it's called an anti-emetic for the not to stop you from vomiting, or an anti-diarrhea. When you have diarrhea, now you could have some kind of dengue fever or something that could be a tropical disease. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about normal expression of diarrhea, your body's natural purging mechanism. You don't want to keep that stuff inside you. I mean, people don't think about that.
No.
They think about the symptom.
Yeah.
I'm no argument here. Vomiting and diarrhea sucks. What about one that most people totally take for granted? A fever. A fever is a very healthy thing your immune system does. And I'm going to share with you 2 reasons why. When your body temperature elevates, it makes your blood thinner. Think about this. When you heat up a certain liquid, when you start to heat it up, it gets thinner, not all the way to boiling, because for you chefs, I go, wait, you boil it, it gets thicker. But your blood, when you heat up your body temperature, your blood gets thinner. When your blood gets thinner, it flows through your body more rapidly, and the white blood cells, part of your immune system, work more aggressively when your blood is thinner. And here's something else. Inside the blood, when your body temperature rises, the red blood cells take back all the iron in your blood. Now, why is that important? Let's just say it's a virus or a bacteria that you were exposed to. The virus and the bacteria are going to eat the iron in your blood. It's their food source, unless you take something for it and lower your temperature down, because we get freaked out. Oh, a fever is bad. No, a fever is great. Leave it alone. Let it do its job. Let the iron get sucked back into the red blood cells so that your bacteria and viruses don't have anything to eat. And then while we're at it, let's just make the white blood cells, the enemy of the bacteria and the virus, more active.
Right.
That makes total sense. What doesn't make any sense is lowering your fever. People say, well, if it gets too high, we could die. Yeah. When's the last time you heard somebody dying of a fever? And it doesn't happen. Leave it alone. Your body knows best. When did Tylenol get more smart than your own body?
Wow.
Think about that. Leave the fever alone. It's your body's immune system doing its job, and we screw it all up when we take something for a fever, or we take something to stop throwing up, or we take something to stop vomiting. And those are just signs of that you don't like, but they're all signs your immune system is working perfectly. Leave it alone.
Seriously. Okay. So this is a really good time for us to interject a little bit of something here about these talks that we're going to be having Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The wellness foreplay talks, we all like foreplay talks, right? Is that when you come and join us on these, keep in mind, you need to have an open mind. All right.
Right.
If you're stuck in the thought process that has got you to where you're at right now, you're not going to have any improvement or be able to experience the optimal wellness that we want to help you have. And so first of all, you got to come with an open mind, right? Because you're going to be hearing things that are going to be going completely against everything that you've always thought or known. And yeah, that's totally okay. Just have an open mind. And then keep in mind also that if you're having a little bit of aha moments like, oh my gosh, then more than likely, there's a lot of people that yourself that are also thinking the same things you are, and maybe doing things that aren't necessarily helping them be as healthy or well as they could be. So please, take a moment, share this forward, tag somebody in the comments section, share, we are going to be uploading this to podcast as well. So make sure you subscribe, you follow, and you just share the heck out of this, because this is something that people really need to be empowered on. And that's their wellness. There's so much fear going on right now that we want to bring in, first of all, faith, and trust in these amazing creations that we have in our bodies. But on top of that, give you the knowledge,
Right.
that truly is the foreplay to your wellness. So
And
one of the
I need to go back
ahead.
to the whole fever thing.
Okay, yeah, because I wanted to add something in there too.
If the fever get, and it's only when it gets to like 104, 105, 106 do we really start to concern ourselves. That almost never happens.
Mhm.
But that's the fear. That's why we were told, that's why we've been groomed for a long time. Take Tylenol when you have a fever, especially with our kids. If you start to have a fever, get up around 102, 103, easy things you can do. Put a cold compress on the back of your neck. Put a cold compress on the top of your head. Get in some room temperature or cool water in the bathtub. It doesn't have to be Tylenol. You don't want, if it gets too high or you're getting up to 103, 104, and you're starting to really get concerned, because there is a such thing as like febrile seizures in kids that are granted, but that very rarely ever happens. We are just pre-programmed. Fear steps in. Rather than honoring the fear, honor your body's wisdom, honor your immune system. It knows what it's doing.
Yeah. So when we were thinking about this open mind thing, I think that we also need to kind of change the thought processes or what we put on to words, meaning a symptom or an indicator. What you're experiencing. If we stop thinking about these things as being symptoms to a disease, because a disease or a sickness or an illness always follows up a symptom, right?
Right.
But if you identify it as being an indicator that your army, your military that you have inside of you, your protectors are going to battle for you, then
That's
you
a
can
good
actually,
thing.
you can take more pride in that. You can let it do and trust your body, trust your immune system, trust your army inside of you to do its job.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
Seriously. So it's all a mindset shift, right? And sometimes we attach the wrong words to things that we're thinking. So number 2 question, why is your immune system important? Do you want to share this one?
Yeah. Because if you didn't have one, you'd die. It's pretty important. And it's not like we are living in a completely neutral, drug-free, bacteria-free, virus-free environment. Obviously, there's bad things in our environment, which is exactly why we have an immune system. But if we didn't have an immune system, we should be concerned because it could literally kill us. But because the reason why you see people not dying everywhere under normal circumstances is because we have an immune system.
And guess what?
That's what it's for.
Every single one of us was given one when we were born. Even before we were born.
No, it's interesting.
That was part of our creation. That was part of the makeup of our bodies.
Yeah. And because of that, this is the whole, I want to just say open-mindedness, because if we truly look at that, we were given an immune system. We were born with one. And we also, in typical scenario, we start to challenge it shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Deliberately, which we shouldn't do.
Yeah. I would even say sometimes the immune system actually gets challenged before it even gets started.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So before a child is born, even, right?
Good.
So that's leading right up to the third question. So the third question is, how can your immune system be hindered? How can you slow it down? How can you cause it problems? How can you, end up being that wall that comes up against your own military? So the
ignorance is a big one.
Big one, right? And I'll tell you guys, I'm being completely vulnerable, and I'll share with you a couple different instances here in just a moment as Dondi shares some things. I was raised in the form, as I already mentioned, that we did what our doctors told us to do, whether it was us personally or as I started having children, we just fell in line. I hate even saying that because it's so not who I am. And yet it was what I knew. It's all I knew.
And we definitely don't want to give the misperception that there is any kind of underlying intentions here.
No,
that we are being tricked or anything like that. Good people do good things. And I would say I've never met a doctor in my entire career, regardless of what initials they have after their name or what discipline they practice, that didn't start out their quest to become a doctor with pure intentions to do good. Sometimes it's the methods that we employ that aren't as good as others, but that's okay. I don't know any doctors that are out to hurt anybody. So I want to make sure.
And I agree 100%. Thank you for clarifying that. As a matter of fact, I have some scars on my body that are testaments to doctors that saved my life. So I am very, very grateful to medical professionals and everything that they do. I just know that there are some things that I would have chosen to do differently if I had had more personal knowledge myself, right? So how can it be hindered? Our bullet points here are living unnaturally. For example, using Tylenol for fever, as Dondi was talking about, not letting our kids play in the dirt and having to sanitize everything, right? That actually hinders the development and progression of a healthy immune system. How about drinking anything other than water?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, big time, right?
Human being is the only one to do that.
Yeah. And then how about this one too, or these? Having a poor diet, having high stress levels, having bad sleep, and a sedentary lifestyle. These are all things, all of these things can hinder your immune system. And so talking about that, I mean, we had a lot of fun there for a second on the kids not playing in dirt. But seriously, guys, if your little kid wants to go out and play in the playground, don't worry about having to wipe the whole playground down first. Because the thing is your child is developed in such a way that its army is just waiting and wanting to butt up into these full-grown protectors of your child. And if you feel like you have to keep them in a sanitized situation, you're doing more harm than you are good.
Exactly. And it's a common sense strategy, because like if you're looking at muscles and like bodybuilders, stress equals growth and growth equals strength. So the more you stress the muscle, the more it grows, the stronger it gets. Your immune system's the same way. I mean, just take hypothetically, if we could, through vaccination, through wiping down every surface that we ever come in contact with, we deprived our bodies completely of bacteria, viruses, sicknesses, and infections, we would be the most unhealthy population the world has ever seen, because our immune system gets stronger, we get healthier, the more it gets stressed.
Yeah.
To alleviate it from doing its job is the worst possible thing we could do. It's just a common sense approach. I mean, it's skills. The more skilled your immune system gets because it's having to do its job, the better it responds and the healthier you're going to get. So, and I remember if I first started questioning this thing, I received all the childhood vaccinations. I got a measles vaccination a bunch of times, but then I got measles when I was 5 years old. And I remember my mom asking, why did you get measles? Asking my doctor, or the doctor, the pediatrician, why did he get measles if he got the measles vaccine? It's the interesting thing about it. When you deprive and nobody dies of measles. More people die of vaccines related to those things than they die of the actual things themselves. And why? Because we have an immune system. And I don't want to go down a rabbit hole and get really controversial. I could get super passionate about this.
So much
I am super passionate about this, but I don't want to take away from the power of this episode. I want to encourage you guys to do your own research. We're not here to shove any belief system or ideology down your throat. We're here to challenge you to develop your own and have some ammunition behind it so that you are happy and satisfied with your own decisions, especially with your immune system, because it's a masterful thing in its design. It works masterfully when it's allowed to work. When we deprive it of working, not letting our kids, I mean, think about it just this, the more dirt underneath your kids' fingernails and the more they put those fingernails in their mouth, probably the healthier they're going to be as adults. Question that belief system, because if you don't have dirt under their fingernails and they're not getting dirt into their bodies and their immune system's not responding, it's weak. Your immune system would be the 90-pound weakling. Versus the kid who's exposed to everything is like the bodybuilder immune system. Which one do you want? Well, it all depends on when it's called upon. How do you want it to respond? The more adept it is, the more skilled it is, the more practice it's had, the better it's going to respond. That's just common sense.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, a lot of the things that we're talking about right now, I know we're just skimming over them. Future episodes are going to be coming out of the immune system. I mean, like gut health, right? That's a huge one. So we're going to be doing several episodes on gut health and on diet and choices and how about in toxicity, because the things that we put on our body, the things that we eat and we put in our body, all of that affects our immune system's capability of working at its optimal level as well. You had used an example when we were talking about how we were going to present this today about the chickenpox vaccine.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. So will you share that story?
Yeah, I remember when, and this is going to go back to children. I didn't have a say in it, whether or not I received the chickenpox vaccine. It's what you did when I was a kid, raised in the 60s and 70s. But my children, we had a choice to vaccinate them with chickenpox or not. We chose not. And I remember when the kids of our friend or friends of our kids, their kids got chickenpox. It was like, awesome. We're taking our kids over. Our kids are going to play with your kids. We want them to get chickenpox. And I remember people, are you crazy? That's child abuse. It's like, no, that's wisdom.
Yeah.
Because if our kids get how many people do you know that have ever died of chickenpox? My brother and my sister both have chickenpox scars. Their body healed perfectly. I never got chickenpox.
I did. I had chickenpox.
And I got the vaccine, but I never got
Mhm.
chickenpox. Here's my concern. When you deprive yourself of chickenpox as a child and you are exposed to the virus later on in life, it's called shingles.
Oh, no.
Shingles can be one of the most painful. I've never had it, but I've heard many of my patients that had shingles. It's one of the most painful things there is. People commit suicide because of the pain of shingles, and it can actually kill you.
Mhm.
So if you deprive yourself of chickenpox because of, for whatever reason, and again, that's why my children were not vaccinated with any vaccines and never will be as long as they're under my roof. But we encourage them to hang out. We played with the kids, played with them, but the kids didn't get chickenpox. But the more you prime your immune system, the better it's going to perform. And
Yes.
sometimes when it does its job in the beginning, when you're a child, it will save you from a very miserable existence later on in life when it never learned the lesson it could have, but was deprived of when you were younger.
Yeah. Such a good story. Such a good story. All right, guys. I know that you've heard something that has resonated. So make sure that you're sharing this out because
Didn't we talk about water
foreplay
somewhere?
is always more fun when you're together with someone else,
Yes,
right?
totally,
So you got to
totally.
share this foreplay talk. So
I
make
took
sure
a
that
drink
you're
of water
sharing
and I
this
wanted
out.
to say something about water. Did we briefly mention that?
We did. Actually, it's coming up here shortly.
Okay, cool.
But you
I want to make
did.
sure we talk about water.
We did mention drinking anything other than water. So was there anything you wanted to add
think
in there
about this.
that?
Human beings are the only animal species, whether you consider us animals or not, the only living things that voluntarily, deliberately drink things other than water. You would never go pour coffee on your plants. You would never go pour vodka on a tree in your front yard. You would never go pour Kool-Aid in your fishbowl. You just wouldn't. And the reason is because water is what our bodies need. We mix things, we filter water through ground coffee beans and we think it's awesome. And we pour cream and sugar into it. Great. No other animal does that. And there's a reason, because it's unnatural. I'm not saying don't drink coffee, don't drink vodka, don't drink Kool-Aid or whatever else you happen to mix with water to make something cool. But it is not a source of health. And most people are very dehydrated because they're drinking these other things that taste better than water that happen to be made with water, but that's not water. That's something you have created afterwards, and no other animal does that, except animals under human control and humans themselves. And there's a reason. It's unnatural to drink anything other than water.
Yeah. And by the
do
way,
we get
guys,
unnatural sometimes?
absolutely,
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
But what you have to understand is that you can't think, oh, well, I'm gonna mix my brain food with water, and that's gonna count towards the amount of ounces that I need to drink in a day time. No, it just means that if you're gonna drink coffee, if you're gonna drink alcohol, if you're gonna drink brain food, if you're gonna drink anything that is not water, you also have to drink still that amount of water, which 50% of your body weight,
70 to 80 ounces of body, 70 to 80 ounces of water for every 100 pounds of body weight will keep you perfectly hydrated. And there's an amazing book. There's a book called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. You're not sick, you're thirsty.
Yeah.
If people drank only water and enough water, 70 to 80 ounces every day for every 100 pounds of body weight, I would say we would probably cut the sickness down by 60 to 70%. That's my own theory. But, and I can tell you, we're going to have to make more episodes.
I have to tell you guys,
I can't even believe
I know we're totally going. I know. So I am actually thinking that if I would just think, you're not hungry, you need to drink more water, that would be much better for me too. So that would be good. Okay, so question number 4, since we are running long here on this episode, how can we support and increase our immune systems? There's so much that goes into this. So just know there's going to be several more episodes coming along here. Please make sure that you're sharing this forward, follow us. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we will be coming to you live. We will start sometime between 12 and 3 Mountain Time. So just know that we will be coming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with new information. So how can we support and increase it? With rest, good nutrition, optimism, positive thinking, right? Movement, good sleep cycles, meaning going to bed and getting up similar times each day, right? graveyard shift. That was a bummer. That's hard on people.
Yeah, it's interesting.
really,
There's,
really
if you look up golden minutes on Google, golden minutes are the minutes before midnight. The more minutes that we spend sleeping before 12 o'clock a.m. midnight, the better off we're going to be, because human beings are what is called diurnal, meaning we are created and designed to be awake during the day and asleep at the night or during the night, opposed to nocturnal, which animals that are nocturnal are awake at night and they sleep during the day. Sometimes people can, well, I'm a night owl. You weren't born a night owl. Your physiology isn't a night owl. You're choosing to be a night owl. But the more you honor the fact that you are diurnal, awake during the day, asleep at night, golden minutes before midnight, the healthier you're going to be. And challenge it this way: go camping with no artificial light, including campfires. You will, as soon as the sun goes down, mark my words, you're going to start yawning, because your body is in tune with circadian rhythms, which are the rhythm of the earth, the sun cycles. As the sun goes down, your body's craving rest. With artificial light, we can defy that. And the more we do that and the more we live unnaturally, the more unhealthy we're going to be. So sleep is critically important.
Yeah, definitely. And then also reducing stress, and back to the drinking water, right?
More of it, and ideally only water.
And then we can also allow it to work when our body calls upon it, right? So not hindering it, whether it's with over-the-counter medicines or anything else, not hindering our body, our immune system when it's trying to work.
And we can hinder it by not giving it the building blocks nutritionally.
Yeah.
Vitamins, minerals, good quality nutrition, things like that.
Yeah, like vitamin B, C, D, zinc, quercetin.
Especially for viruses.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then elderberry is really good too.
Very good.
Love elderberry. And then probiotics.
Prebiotics,
gut health is so important.
We're gonna have to gut health. We could do an entire episode and then go long-winded like we have on this.
I think we'll do probably multiple, because we'll do gut health and then we'll do prebiotics. We'll do probiotics. We'll do postbiotics. We'll do all kinds of different education on that, because it's such a big deal, and the connection between the gut and brain and just all of it. And then there's also natural compounds and activators out there that can help you in increasing and supplementing your immune system. And then one of my favorites, and thank goodness it is because we live here in Arizona, is getting out and enjoying the sun. You know, you can get some good immune support by just going out into the sun, taking a walk. As we get older, we don't absorb as much from the sun as what we did when we were younger. So you still have to make sure that you're supplementing the vitamin D and the vitamin C and, you know, the different things like that. But the sun is something that's natural and it comes up every single day.
It does.
You can count on it. You can count on it. So guys, just know that we're going to be
even
covering.
Even behind clouds, you can still get vitamin D.
Yeah. See, so every single day you can go out and experience the vitamin sun, the
vitamin sun.
The vitamin sun. So guys, we're going to be covering topics like this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like we said before, here on, you know, Wellness Foreplay, because we know 100% sure that knowledge is the foreplay to your wellness. So we want to invite you to invite others to join us as well. So make sure that you follow us. Go for the notification so you know when we're live. And then also, if you have a topic or you have, you know, just this like, oh my gosh, I wonder about this moment, message us. You know, let us know what that topic is.
Put them in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments would be great too. Let us know so that we can make sure that it's covered in one of the future Wellness Foreplay episodes. So from a former detective and a former
family wellness chiropractor, I want to close with this quote from, actually, it was a great segue.
This is good.
Dr. BJ Palmer, the developer of the profession of chiropractic. One of my favorite quotes by him: nature needs no help, just no interference. In other words, honor nature. Our bodies are natural. Allow them to do their job. Don't interfere. Now, we do have the ability with technology and scientific breakthroughs like antibiotics, surgical procedures, medical devices, things like that.
Life-saving.
I'm talking about overall health. Your best approach and best outcome for overall health is just honor your body and let it do its job. Don't try to intervene.
So good.
So good.
Yes. So guys, thanks so much for joining us for episode number 2, the immune system as part of our Wellness Foreplay. Remember, foreplay is always better when you're with other people.
That's
so
true.
thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye. For now. See ya.